Hey guys, it's Joyce, content marketer and founder based in Hong Kong. I help those with an entrepreneurial mindset explore their full potential with content. Of course, for those of you who are new to this channel, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And for those of you who have followed me across other social media platforms, you will know that I offer mentorship programs for mentees aging from high schoolers all the way to young adults. What I've learned is that a lot of these content creators and writers have the same problem. So in this video, I want to share with you my tips on how you can instantly become a better writer and content creator to fulfill your different career potentials. Although this might sound very self-explanatory, but one of the things that my mother told me when I first entered the working force in becoming a journalist and a reporter at online magazines is that she told me people who knows words does not mean they know how to write. So when it comes to writing a good article, when it comes to blogs, long form, landing pages, and even social media posts, the first thing you really need to ace is the aspect of storytelling. You need to understand what your hook is, what your focus is, what you're really trying to convey within your content in order to create something that people want to read and will value. And the number one mistake a lot of fresh graduates or new writers and content creators make when it comes to the aspect of storytelling is they write as though they're watching a movie. They usually write in the very beginning, middle, and end sense so that they leave the priority and the important, valuable parts at the very end. The thing they don't actually understand is that you need to put the emphasis in the very beginning for people to actually know what to expect from your content and actually be captivated by what you have written in order to read on. So the prioritization and the order of the elements within your article is a very important thing for you to tackle if you are a new writer or content creator. Now, a little tip I have, especially for writing blogs and long form articles nowadays, is that they usually include a definition of some sort in order to set the scene for the readers to understand what the article is going to talk about. However, instead of kickstarting your article with a definition, which could be quite stale and uninteresting, really drive your hook. Tell them what they can expect and what they can learn within the article before you actually throw in things like definition, so that instead of setting the scene with a definition, you're setting the scene with some sort of storytelling and qualitative aspects that would more likely gravitate and capture the attention of your readers. The second common mistake I see a lot of fresh graduates and new writers and content creators make, including myself when I first started off, is that we write awfully long sentences. The thing is, when it comes to sentences, you should really be trying to convey one single point per sentence instead of extending it into a whole paragraph with commas and other punctuations. For new writers, it feels like it's very hard to edit out different things within a sentence. However, it actually makes it more difficult for the reader to understand what you're trying to get at. So the first thing that you should really try and do when you're editing your own article is to shorten your sentences. Break them off and break them down into shorter pieces, end them with full stops. A very simple way for you to edit down your sentences is by removing unnecessary descriptive words. I understand that when we're writing, we tend to over-dramatize and romanticize certain things in order to feel like it's becoming more attractive than it already is. But to be honest, when you get into the drill of writing, people want to read things that's more straightforward. You can still set the scene with descriptions, but an unnecessary abundance of it really doesn't add to the attractiveness of your article, and it doesn't really add to the understanding of your target audiences. So therefore, the first easy tip here is to really eliminate some of the excessive use of descriptive words. The third thing that I see commonly shared by new writers as well as new content creators, which actually hinders their improvement, is how they treat their articles or their writing as a baby. They think that they've given birth to it, they've spent so much time, and therefore they're quite reluctant when it comes to the editing process. Removing a single word or rearranging orders or replacing sentences becomes something that they take very personally. Now, to be honest, I went through that same process as well. I spent hours writing this article and then I sent it to my editor and she decides not to like the whole paragraph and I need to rewrite the whole thing. Now, of course, it does hurt your feeling to a certain extent. However, you must understand that it is for the good of it. And in order to go through these editing processes well, you need to develop your writing skills. That's how you actually get to improve and think about writing in a different aspect, and particularly understand a bit more about the tone and manner that your publication or the channel you're working on requires, as well as perhaps what the readers would prefer over your style of writing. Now, one easy exercise I've actually devised for one of my mentees is to ask her to write about a certain experience. The first thing is try and write it for yourself, as though it's a diary entry, something that you would look back on but nobody else would. Write it secondly as a version for somebody else. Third thing is think about writing it as a sales pitch. How are you going to sell this experience to somebody else so that you can prompt them to take action and also want to experience something for themselves? The fourth thing is try and write it for a specific platform. Writing it for a blog or writing it for a column or writing it for a social media post can be highly different. So train yourself with the length, the tone and manner, and the words that perhaps you will need to use in order to explain the same experience. Now, the list can go on, but really think about writing the same thing for different purposes, for different people, in order to facilitate the experience of the readers on those distribution channels. That can definitely open your eyes into the way that you can write about one single same thing in various different ways. And last but not least, really try and make your articles stand out. There are so many people in this world who knows how to write articles and perhaps is better than you grammatically, and they know how to eloquently explain a situation, so on and so forth. So how do you actually make your article stand out? Of course, how you write is very important. The subject matters that you become an expert in writing also adds to the value of your content. However, what I believe is that there are certain different tricks for you to increase the credibility of your articles whenever you're trying to perhaps pitch it to a client, find a job, or use it as a writing reference. First thing is to consider adding in data. If you're talking about something that's relatively more professional or serious or related to a specific industry, try and throw in research data here and there to support your point of view and support perhaps your opinion or your argument, so that it doesn't seem like you're just thinking about all these things from your head and you're just providing ideas subjectively. It's something that people should take consideration into and can use you as a reference. The second thing you can consider adding in are quotes. This is by far my personal favorite because it's so easy to get a quote off somebody through interviews or conversations. Of course, ask for their permission to be included, and it's a great way for you to introduce a new perspective into your article, which can inspire you into different ideas to fulfill your article with other different values, which you might not have thought of on your own. Third thing are sources. So if you're going to quote somebody or take an idea from another existing article, always remember to leave your source on the bottom. It's pretty much like writing a paper for university. However, it can be slightly more casual. You don't have to follow a specific way to reference them. You can just include their URL or tag them if it's a social media post. And that also shows the person who is hiring you to write understand that you have been researching across different spectrums on this subject matter to provide an interesting and unique point of view, which really adds to your value as a writer. Writing is definitely a lifelong skill. It's an exercise, it's a game, it's a passion, it's something that's entertaining for both the writer as well as for the audience. And for myself as a content marketer, I definitely have a passion within writing in order for me to create all these different types of content. Of course, the last thing that I can leave for any new writers or people aspiring to become content creators or even content marketers is that remember to read. Find out different books, read, learn, and see how other people write. You can really figure out the style and tone and manner that you yourself prefer after reading different books. And what I can tell you is it's the most natural way for you to improve the way you write, just by engulfing and consuming all these different writings by other writers. Currently, I'm reading the following book, which I really love. I still have yet to finish finish it. I have 6 more books to get through this 2023, and I can't wait to share all my reviews of them with you all. So again, if you're interested in anything that's related to content marketing, entrepreneurship, or even mentorship as a slasher, as an individual who's hoping to build your own personal brand, find me on joysangcontentmarketing.com and follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.